Hi everyone, good morning. I'm so glad to see so many fellow teleworkers online with me today. My name is Cindy Ogden and I'm president and owner of Fuel It. We are a training solutions company based in Memphis, Tennessee. And with the spread of coronavirus in the last several weeks, our daily work lives have become a little different, and many of us have found ourselves working out of our home. The Fuel It team has been doing this for many years, and so we wanted to share with you some tips and tricks that we've learned through the years that have helped us become successful working wherever we might need to be able to work. Before we jump in, I was wondering if anyone on the call can relate to this. You're sitting at the kitchen bar, drinking your first cup of coffee, looking at a stack of laundry that needs to be washed. You have a child asking what's for breakfast, a husband asking what's planned for the day, while you're on the phone trying to have a conversation with a customer on a conference call. Whether you're suddenly faced with working from home due to schools being shut down and no one to watch your kids, or your office has sent everyone home to work remotely due to the recommended quarantines, or you've decided now is the time to start that new independent consulting business out of your home, chances are it will take a little getting used to. In this brief session, I'm going to share with you some of the tips and tricks for surviving the first few days and hopefully setting you up for success to possibly years of productivity and being able to work from home. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is set up a defined workspace. Even if the terms for working from home are temporary, there's a psychological mind shift that is needed to move you from, I'm at home and this is my personal time and space, to, I'm at work and I need to limit distractions. Sitting at the kitchen table in the middle of all the home activities is almost never a good place to work. Why, you might ask? Not only is it the hub for where everyone in the home congregates, it also leads to food temptations. And trust me, the last thing you want is to find yourself eating everything out of your kitchen. Spend an hour or two setting up your workspace with all the supplies and materials to keep you focused on your work. Consider spaces where you'll be able to limit distractions and noise. For example, take into consideration the things that get your dog to make noises before you have a call. Does he get worked up when you aren't paying attention? Maybe put him in another room. Does he bark at everyone who walks by the front window? Maybe close the blinds or keep the dog in your office while you're on calls. Next, it's important to establish boundaries with the other residents, whether it's roommates, parents, spouse, children, pets. Working from home comes with blurred lines between when you're at work and when you're on your time. Be sure to communicate with the others in the house the guidelines for when you're unavailable. If your environment contains infants or toddlers who may not understand these types of boundaries, be sure to coordinate with others in your home to help while you're at work. If this is not an option, be sure to discuss with your manager or supervisor. There may be options for you to take time off rather than working remotely. Maintain a routine. I have found this to be one of the most helpful tips that we will be sharing. Having and keeping a routine is important. Even if you're not going into an office, waking up at the same time every day and getting ready for that important meeting will set your mind and focus on work. You never know what the day may bring, and you want to be prepared for that unexpected video chat with a customer or colleague. Having a routine is especially important when you have younger children at home who may feel like it's an extended weekend because they're not in school. Keeping them in the routine of getting up and being rushed and ready for the day can seem exhausting, but the alternative is letting them sleep in, thinking it gives you extra peace in the morning, only to be abruptly interrupted while on a call with that little cherub face screaming for breakfast. With older children, you can set expectations before they go to bed. If you sleep in, you're on your own for breakfast, and remind them in the morning with a note on their bedroom door or on the kitchen counter. Be available during normal working hours. Just because you're working from home doesn't mean that everyone you're doing business with is. There are standard operating hours expected for your availability. Make sure you are aware of your manager's expectations in terms of answering calls and participating in meetings. Also, be sure to take breaks and lunch. It's important to step away from your work, stretch your legs, and clear your mind. When working from home, it's easy to get focused on your work and lose track of how long you've actually been sitting. Just like being in an office, it is recommended that you get up and move around every 45 minutes to an hour. Next, you'll want to manage your time effectively. Many people struggle with this even when they're working in an office. There are many time management tools and strategies that can help you be effective and get things done. So be sure to especially implement some process that will ensure you stay on top of your work. It's so easy to get distracted by the TV or laundry or cute pets while working from home, only to realize that you have a project deadline you haven't even started. So make sure that you're creating at a minimum a to-do list every single day and you're reviewing it in the morning and at the end of the day. Next, you want to make sure you're communicating with different tools. People are innately built to be in communities. We are social beings, and isolation can cause many detrimental effects. With social distance becoming the norm, it is important now more than ever before to connect with people virtually. Be sure to have video calls as much as possible to establish connections and to pay attention to those nonverbal cues in communications. Working remotely also takes away the opportunity to pop your head over your coworker's cube wall to show them a funny cat meme or share a story. Just like connecting online from a visual standpoint is important, keeping connected relationships is important. Use text or chat tools to make sure your relationships stay intact with your colleagues. It's equally important to provide your manager or supervisor with frequent updates. Be sure to determine his or her expectations regarding frequency and methods. Track your work. This is probably one of the biggest tips for working remotely. Because the work you are doing is not readily seen by your manager or colleagues, it is easy to make assumptions about your levels of productivity. Counter this by keeping track of all your work productivity, either on a collaborative project management tool or a simple Excel worksheet. Even if your job requires you to clock in and out, it's still important to track what you're doing throughout the day. This will also benefit you in the future for planning out projects. And finally, our last tip is to give grace. This is a favorite Southern term. Working from home is not easy for everyone and can be especially challenging when you're trying to work with a house full of a family. That's people and pets. Show grace by being understanding when your colleague's dog chews a squeaky toy in the middle of your presentation, or a baby starts crying in the background of a team call. Change can be hard, and this change is new for everyone. Showing compassion and support to your coworkers will go a long way in making sure everyone gets through this together. So there you have it. These are the Fuel It Team's tips for how to be effective and get things done while working from home. Hopefully you found a few tips that will help you smoothly transition into your new setup of working from home. If you would like to learn more about specific communication and productivity tools that I've used or would recommend, or you're interested in other training, give me a call or shoot me an email. My contact information is on the screen. Thanks for joining today. Good luck, everyone.